Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome to another video. Well, should I say video? Live stream. We're live streaming today. We are obviously live streaming the fallout that has been from obviously a certain major bombshell. That obviously dropped yesterday morning. Was incredible. It was an incredible moment. If you're a Liverpool fan, most of you probably felt heartbroken. I'm sure there were probably some Liverpool fans out there that actually were happy. Maybe they are, for whatever reason, happy that Jurgen Klopp is leaving at the end of the season. But for the majority of us, heartbroken, sad. Some were annoyed. I saw a lot of, or a fair few people that were actually annoyed by the announcement yesterday. And we'll get more into that in a little bit. About the timing of the announcement and everything else that went along. For those of you that have been living under a rock for the past 24 hours or so, Jurgen Klopp announced yesterday that, of course, he was going to be leaving Liverpool Football Club at the end of the season in what was a completely out of the blue, no one had heard anything, just sucker punch to the entire Liverpool fan base. No one could possibly believe it. I didn't believe it. I had no idea. Hey, Balam, how you doing, bro? Nice to see you. Are you watching the Bayern match? Is in an hour. I may be watching that if I have time, or I might be watching the FA Cup. I think aren't Fulham playing tonight against Newcastle. I think that's the game tonight, I think, if memory serves me correctly. But I might actually pay attention to the Bayern game, especially because their manager might well become our new manager. So it might as well be rather fortuitous to that. I'm good, thanks, man. I hope you are doing very well. But I want to know, 24 hours after Jurgen Klopp's major bombshell yesterday, how are we feeling? How are we feeling about the bombshell yesterday? Now that 24 hours has passed, now that dust has somewhat settled, because I've never seen, from a Liverpool point of view, a Liverpool news story carry this much weight. Transfer stories happen, but of course, this is the greatest manager that we've had in our Premier League era. And this bombshell that comes out of nowhere really shook the foundations of the Liverpool fan base, shook the Premier League. And I saw a lot of rival fans coming out, and they're going to be happy, of course they are. But a lot of rival fans that could put their biases aside were putting it aside by saying, I'm happy he's gone. But you know what? Liverpool are going to be hit hard, and the Premier League as a whole is going to be hit hard by not having a character and a manager of Jurgen Klopp's stature. And I, for one, completely agree. And that's why I made the video yesterday. I was absolutely shell-shocked and lost for words yesterday about the entirety of the thing. So, like I say, I'm very, very much shocked still by it. Klopp's interview, very passionate, very powerful, very emotional in his in the whole thing yesterday. And I still can't believe no one knew about it. And apparently he told the club since November, which is a very big testament to the club and how well kept that kind of secret was, that no one knew. That nobody knew. So I just wanted to kind of do this live stream to kind of see how you guys were feeling and feeling. And if you want to get involved, there you go. That's if you want to get involved. Would love to hear from you all, whether it be through audio or whether it be in the chat like Balam is here. Yeah, there are a few names. Do you remember when Borussia Dortmund did the press conference in 2015 when Klopp was leaving? It was all unexpected and happened so suddenly. I remember because I saw their last tweet when I was in college. We all knew yesterday was going to happen one day, up to Liverpool to get the new manager correct. I mean, obviously, all good things must come to an end. The only thing that obviously we had an issue with as Liverpool fans dealing with it yesterday was that it was so unexpected. You know, last year, Klopp, I think, had signed a new deal. And then, of course, earlier on this season, there was talk about maybe him getting a new deal on top of the new deal that he already signed last year. So it was very, very shocking and a very sideways sucker punch to all of us. And again, at Dortmund, there was the case that maybe he'd run his course there. There was a lot of people saying that, and I'm sure that if he'd have stepped on, maybe he would have done something similar to this season, because there was a lot of people saying last season that Klopp's ran his course at Liverpool. He can't do no more. He's hit his ceiling. And then this season, he bounces back and he proves everybody wrong. He rebuilds this Liverpool team into doing what they're doing right now. And that's why it came as such a shock. Similar to what you say, I don't want Liverpool to make Borussia Dortmund mistakes, changing managers often. They had Tuchel and after had a handful of managers. Absolutely. And that's going to be the main thing about this whole entire situation. Who do we go after next? And my biggest fear in all of this is having to trust FSG to make the right decisions and to go again. I don't necessarily trust them that much. I don't trust them as far as doing the right things at the club and everything. I don't trust FSG that much to get it right. Don't trust them much to get it right first time. But then again, very, very few teams do. There are very few teams out there, past or present, that manage to get the right manager in after obviously a manager has been before him and has done the things that Jurgen Klopp has done. Look at Manchester United with Sir Alex Ferguson. Now, I know that obviously Sir Alex won a lot more than what Jurgen Klopp has across a bigger time span at his club in comparison to what Klopp's done at his club. But even so, it's going to be incredible to think at the end of this season there's going to be no Jurgen Klopp and Liverpool have to get this appointment, this next managerial appointment, absolutely spot on. Remarkable, I say a few years ago, back in 2021, 24, he could go. Live with some Liverpool fans, he was saying going on to 2026. Liverpool need a rebuild. Salah could leave because Saudi will try developing leagues there. They got Brendan in. Klopp was their biggest success. I think that Jurgen, they were lucky. The fans wanted him. FSG listened. Yeah, absolutely. FSG did listen to the fans. I don't necessarily agree with your call for a rebuild because I think the club's in a very good position, at least squad-wise, to go into the next sort of era with Klopp laying the foundations and then whoever the next manager is going to become, just sprinkling that bit of stardust in there that the transfer window can sometimes provide to obviously make that team his own. Klopp's laid the foundations, in my opinion. Yeah, you've got a few players there that are getting on in age. You've got the likes of Salah, who's 31, 32. Van Dijk, who's a similar sort of age. Alisson's 30, I believe. There's one or two players there that are reaching that 30 to early 30s mark. And I agree with you there. But the large bulk of that team right now is in the region of 25, give or take a few years either side. I genuinely do think this team is in a very good position to have carried on under Jurgen Klopp. But if he doesn't feel like he can continue, and that was the whole basis of his interview yesterday, was the fact that he just seemed tired. And I think the thing that stuck out to me was he wanted a normal life. He wants to be away from football. Now, whether or not he'll come to instantly regret that because his life has always seemingly been about football, whether it be as a player, whether it be as a manager, whether it be in Germany, whether it be in England, his life has always seemingly revolved around football. So it's going to be very interesting to see if this sort of, I guess, somewhat sabbatical that he's planning on taking is going to be a permanent one or it's going to be a temporary one. I personally see it as being temporary. I think he will go to the German national team eventually because that has always seemingly lingered in the background. The fact of Jurgen Klopp going on to manage international football has always seemingly lingered in the background. And maybe after a year or two of being out of the game, maybe he'll want to come back. And maybe that will be the perfect kind of choice for him. Maybe club level is just too frantic and too hectic and too much busy in his day-to-day life. And, there you have it. Like I say, I think as well he became a granddad, didn't he? Earlier on this year. Or earlier on last year, should I say. So I think that has also played a part in maybe his decision-making as well, that he just wants that, as he said in his interview, that normal life. And here's hoping to... I think the fans are a little bit more divided this time around. I know what you're saying about the fans, about FSG. Listen to the fans when they were appointing Jurgen Klopp, and I 100% get that and understand that. But that seemed to be a bit of a stronger choice. There seemed to be only one real front runner. I know Carlo Ancelotti was in the running as well, but there seemed to be only one real front runner in that race, and that was definitely Jurgen Klopp. In this situation, there seems to be a bit of a divide amongst the Liverpool fan base from what I've seen as to who people want. And we're going to get onto that after I've just gone through your comments, bro. Long-term hoping that they can win the League Cup, very least this season. The Premier League, tricky because Man City. Do you think Pep will go this summer or next, perhaps, as a farewell? I meant rebuild if Salah leaves. I get what you mean. There definitely that position has to definitely be the main position of focus. Should Salah leave, that has to be the one area of the team that we need to definitely do our homework on and really sprinkle that stardust in the transfer window to obviously get back to where we want to be, and to obviously get a player that can replicate what Salah replicates, or as good as what Salah can replicate. As far as what Pep goes, I think, look, I don't think it's worth speculating on Manchester City or Pep Guardiola until they've had their hearing. Until they've had their hearing and they are either cleared of the 115 charges or they are found guilty of the 115 charges, or whatever happens in their hearing, no point speculating, I don't think, on Manchester City as of right now. I expect him to go to Germany and relax unless he chooses to live in Liverpool long term. Look, he'll always be welcome in Liverpool after what he's done. He'll always be welcome in Liverpool and Anfield. So there's no doubt about it. He's always got a home there if he needs it. But I think he will go back to Germany. I do think he'll go back to Germany. He's meant to take a break in 2015. His wife made him take the Liverpool job, as we know. Yeah, that is an infamous story that I love. And I think his wife also convinced him to re-sign that new deal last year. So we've got, as the Liverpool fans, we've got a lot to thank Jurgen for, and we've got a lot to thank his wife for as well. So yeah, like I say, thank you very much to both of you. Xabi Alonso is the front runner. Sky says I think Julian is an option because he wants club football. Free agent after Euros. Klopp spoke about him as a 28-year-old manager of village team Hoffenheim. Well, that brings us nicely on to the next chap. Oh, by the way, I just want to say, it's a bit. I know I mentioned a few things there in terms of Klopp leaving. It was also interesting that he didn't leave after last year, where he easily could have done. After the season that Liverpool had, which was a bit of a car crash, he very well easily could have left last season. So it's interesting that he decided to stay on for this season, lay the foundations, like I say, have that kind of kickstart to Liverpool 2.0 under Jurgen Klopp, and then bow out gradually at the end of the season. I think what it means now is that going forward, it's going to make every game seem that bit more important, even though Klopp wouldn't want it to. He'd still want it to be the same sort of incentive every single game. But now there's just that extra little bit of an incentive to go out there for the rest of the season. Obviously, I've got a lot to talk about going further down the line in terms of obviously the competitions we're still in. We're still in every single competition we're fighting for this season. We're competing on all fronts. We've still got the FA Cup, the Carabao Cup final, the Europa League, which is set to resume next month, of course. And then, of course, Premier League. And I know that there is a lot on the line. I know that there is a long way to go still. But I would say for at least two of those competitions, we are pretty set for. We are looking pretty good in. I'd say that we are still one of the favourites for the Europa League. And I think against Chelsea, we are the favourites going into that final. The Premier League, I still make Manchester City favourites for. There's no doubt in my mind about that right now, even though we do sit top of the table, even though I would love to say that Liverpool will win another Premier League title this season. I still think City are the favourites. And I think City will definitely be looking at Liverpool's games, particularly in the games coming up against the likes of Chelsea and Arsenal, with the amount of injuries that we have, and obviously the absentees and the big name absentees at that we have, in particular a certain Mohamed Salah, and maybe looking at it and going, there's some points that could be dropped there that we have to capitalise on. So I'm not saying Liverpool are the favourites just yet, and I've maintained that and been consistent about that throughout. But at the same time, I do think we have a good chance of maybe being in the title race till the run-in. So it's going to be an interesting one, and I can't wait for it. And like I say, if there's ever an extra incentive that these players needed, now that Klopp's obviously leaving, that is the incentive that obviously needs to be drilled into them. This is Klopp's final season. So there you have it. Oh, you're surprised the entire staff is leaving? Some thought Pep Lijnders would be the next Liverpool manager. I mean, it's not uncommon for staff to leave alongside a manager. It's not uncommon. I think in Pep Lijnders' case, it is interesting because we all know that he's wanted to become a manager of his own and pursue management to his own. So is this just him out of respect for Jurgen Klopp not going for that Liverpool job? Because I did always feel like he was being groomed for the Liverpool job because he was taking more charge of Liverpool's cup games. There was always that talk about how he's taking more training and build up to cup games. And there was always talk about how he's taking the press conferences and build up to cup games. So it did seem like they were kind of grooming Lijnders to become the successor to Jurgen Klopp more long term. Now, maybe it's because it's all of a sudden they don't feel that Lijnders is ready with obviously the sudden move from Jurgen Klopp, or maybe Lijnders himself just doesn't feel like Liverpool is the right step for him personally, or whether, like I say, it's maybe out of respect for Jurgen Klopp that maybe Lijnders is like, no, this was your team, I'll leave it at that, and I'm going to go elsewhere and I'm going to do my own thing. So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be very interesting to see what happens with Pep Lijnders going forward, especially because, like I say, I thought he was being groomed to become Jurgen Klopp's successor. Not that I was too happy about it, but I always saw that as being the way that Liverpool were going about things and the way that they were trying to maybe position him to be in that kind of role going forward. So it's very interesting as well that everybody did leave. But again, it's not uncommon for that to happen. The new manager that walks in will have a completely fresh start. There is problems behind the scenes, not just in terms of coaching and things like that. Sporting director's gone. FSG really need to structure the entirety of the place, but I think they need the manager in place to obviously build the structure around. Similar way to how they built it with Klopp these past several years. They need the manager in place to then build around it and build the infrastructure behind him for that. So it's going to be very interesting to see what happens in terms of that. But like I say, FSG need to get it right. And as far as the coaching staff and everything else goes, that needs to be completely communicated between themselves and the manager. Manchester are favourites. They won last Premier League title for the last few years. Yeah, of course, history is something not to be ignored there. From a tweet I saw, the Fulham tickets are £40 for adults, and many Fulham fans in Putney area, Parsons Green area, aren't going today. Liverpool need a better ticket system for long term. Yeah, it does seem to be a bit of a chaotic bit of a chaotic system. So we shall see. We shall see, obviously, how that all plays out in the long run. But yeah, that's just my overarching thoughts on the past 24 hours or so. Would love to know yours, and would love to know everybody else's that's listening and obviously involved as well. Would love to hear from you all in terms of in terms of this whole bombshell. Like I say, it completely overshadowed everything yesterday, and of course there was some big FA Cup action that of course occurred last night. So it overshadowed everything throughout that entire day, and it was incredible to watch as a whole. But it did leave the overarching question that I didn't answer in my video, because I knew I'd do some sort of video or live stream like this that would eventually focus on it. I wanted to take yesterday's video to completely focus on Jurgen Klopp and the achievements of Jurgen Klopp, and obviously what he was saying in the edited and cut video that Liverpool released on Twitter without actually watching the full 25-minute video. I have since obviously watched it. Steven Gerrard will be linked. He isn't ready. Brighton and Hove Albion. Roberto will be the risk. He has the passion. Liverpool are a different level to Brighton. Well, it's interesting you say that, because the three managers that are being heavily linked with a move to Liverpool are Roberto De Zerbi of Brighton, Xabi Alonso, of course, of Bayer Leverkusen, and Ange Postecoglou of Tottenham. Now, I don't want Postecoglou anywhere near Liverpool. I like what he's done at Spurs. He had no real expectation level. So, the only way to go from there is up, essentially, with all due respect. With all due respect to Postecoglou and Spurs, there was no real expectation of him to come in and do the job that he has done. Fair play. He's done great, but I still don't want him anywhere near Liverpool Football Club. So really, only leaves in my mind two possible candidates, Xabi Alonso and De Zerbi. Now, the one thing De Zerbi has, well, not the one thing, but one of the main things that I see De Zerbi for over Alonso is he has Premier League experience. Now, I know that Alonso has the Liverpool connection, of course, but obviously he's a young manager. This is his first real senior level job. I like what he's doing at Leverkusen. I absolutely love what he's doing. They're still unbeaten in all competitions this season. They're going strong in everything that they're doing. They are top of the Bundesliga right now. They are going strong. And it's going to be very interesting to see, obviously, what happens towards the end of the campaign. I like the football that they play. I like what he's doing with certain players. I think that he could really work wonders with some of these players that are already here. And like I say, if he can maybe use his Bayer Leverkusen connections to bring in one or two of them little stars that they've got, even better. My only issue with Alonso is that he's young. And I don't want a manager who will come in. He may look good. He may sound good. But he's not really got as much substance to him. And I mean long-term substance. Because it could be good right now. It could look good right now. But how many managers have you seen where the first season or two looks really good and then they drop off? That's my worry with Alonso. That is my worry. And that's the gamble that we will have to take or not take. And if we don't take it, it could come back to bite us. And if we don't take it, maybe it might be beneficial. And maybe he'll go to someone else. Maybe he'll go to like a Chelsea or something. And fail. If that is to be the case. I hope he does great. I love Alonso. And of course, like I say, there is the Liverpool connection there, which of course only adds to his what's the word I'm looking for here? It only adds to basically his argument, shall we say, of him becoming Liverpool manager. Love the guy. I just worry that maybe we're all getting a bit overhyped with Alonso so far. Let's wait until the end of the season. Let's see how Leverkusen do. And then maybe we'll have to make a decision. Maybe. Alonso is cooking. Yeah, I agree with you right now. He has that aura about him. Again, completely agree with you on that one. He does have that aura. He's got that kind of... He's a different personality to Klopp in terms of he seems a lot cooler, calmer. I mean, Klopp's cool, but Alonso's a little bit more reserved, it seems, in certain areas, in certain cases, I guess you could say. Alonso is a young talent learned from Jose Carlo. Can you do the Don Carlo eyebrow? No, I've been told by a lot of lawyers not to do that no more. Rafa and the Spain national team. Yeah, I mean, he's learned from great managers. But wasn't there a Swansea manager who also learned from... I swear there was a Swansea man, Paul Clement. Wasn't it Paul Clement? He learned from several of the best managers around, and look where he is right now. So just because you learn from certain managers doesn't exactly make you amazing. But then again, Arteta learned from Pep Guardiola, and look how well he's doing. So there's good and bad cases for both, I guess. Jose say, and let's face it, Lampard, John Terry, both learned from many a Chelsea manager who was great during their day. Look where they are now. Jose say Xabi Alonso will be a good long-term manager in football. Who am I to argue with Jose Mourinho? Fair play. It feels as if we are mourning a death. Hey, Lucky, how you doing, my dude? Hope you are well. Yeah, I know. I've been feeling that too, my dude. It's like losing one of the family. I've never met him, but it does feel like it. And you know, people will say that's stupid, and people will say, you know, it's just a football manager, but it was just his whole aura. Whether you were in the crowd, whether you were in the city of Liverpool, or whether you were just a fan watching it at home like I was, you know, he just had this hold over everybody in that fan base, and it does feel that way. I don't want it to sound like soppy or anything, but it did feel that way. I have a feeling that some of our star players will leave sooner or later, leave Steve in the desert. I don't think they'll leave. I think there is going to be a massive... We're entering into the great unknown at the end of the day. We're entering into the great unknown, and we haven't had this, obviously, for several years, where we don't actually know what the next step is. Only the people behind closed doors know what the next step is. And I agree with you. Leave Gerrard in the desert. I'm hoping that he can turn his managerial career around to one day manage Liverpool, but right now, doesn't seem to be the case, and definitely don't want him anywhere near Liverpool in terms of being a manager. But I agree with you that it's a big step. Xabi Alonso learned from Pep in Bayern too. Did you see the Leipzig away win today? He has Borussia Mönchengladbach. Graham Potter, for example, we started well, and now Chelsea messed him up. Absolutely. There are stories of managers that are messing up, yeah. I expect Bayern to win German Cup at least. Bundesliga is long way to go. He has another 16 matches in the league. They could also be strong contenders for the Europa League, you know. We could meet them in the... How incredible would that be? How incredible would that be? A Liverpool Bayer Leverkusen Europa League final, in which, at the end of it, Klopp just passes the torch to Alonso after winning and bringing home the Europa League to Liverpool. Absolutely incredible stuff. That's poetry right there. Pep Lijnders might be our interim manager after Klopp. I mean, maybe. Like, I don't think it's set in stone that Lijnders is definitely leaving. I think he's just leaving as an assistant manager. Like I say, I always felt he was being groomed to be the next Liverpool manager. So we'll see what happens with Lijnders, definitely. Paul Clement did work with Ancelotti. Yes, I thought he did. I thought I was right in saying that. Can we make Klopp drink some Monster Energy drink to have that energy he doesn't have? I wish. I don't think that. I think he's burnt himself out, and there's not enough Monster Energy in the world for that. Everton lost to Luton. Yeah, I love that. I love that. Well played, Luton. I wanted to win another UCL with him. He deserves more than one. Absolutely. To say that we got to 3 finals under him, well, 3 Champions League finals and 1 Europa League final so far, and we've only got 1 European Cup to show for it is devastating, especially for a manager of his caliber. Absolutely devastating. Someone on Twitter said, trust in FSG. We're going to have to, bro. We've got no choice. I don't trust in them myself, but fingers crossed that they actually make the right decision. I'm not saying everything that they do is wrong. I've never said everything that they do is wrong. But in decision moment, in big moments like these, and when the big decisions need to be made, I don't necessarily have much faith in them. We are finished. Won't go that far just yet. Won't go that far. Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens, because you never know. You never know, bro. Like I say, I'm as pessimistic as you are. A little bit. Like, honestly, I was saying to people that I knew yesterday about it, and I was saying, knowing FSG, they'll turn around and appoint Mourinho. That's how optimistic I was yesterday at hearing this news. But no, I think they'll make the right choice to, as in the present, they'll make the right choice. I don't think you can go wrong. As long as it's De Zerbi or Alonso, I don't think you can necessarily go wrong. It's only in hindsight we will get proven right or wrong. My 2 top choices is Julian Nagelsmann and Xabi Alonso. Klopp wants his rest. Do you fancy De Zerbi? Don't you fancy De Zerbi? Personally, my choice would be De Zerbi. And that's overall my arching point to this video, is that my overall choice would be De Zerbi. I love his style of play. I love his football. It's entertaining. And I think that with the players that we have at our disposal right now, I think he could work wonders. I genuinely could. And I've seen him at Brighton this season. He works beautifully on a budget that's the size of Brighton. It's about the fact that they recoup all these big money signing or big money sales. The players that he scouts and the scouting system at Brighton is perfect, and the way that he gets them all to work and play, and they seem to bring in a new unknown kid every week for him to just slot straight in and do well. And I think with the current crop of youngsters that Liverpool have got, I think he'd work brilliantly with them. I think he'd work brilliant with the already established stars that Liverpool have. Yes, he doesn't have that star power and that pull of a Jurgen Klopp, but we're not going to get anybody. We're not, as mad as it sounds, we're not going to look for or get anyone that has got the pull of a Jurgen Klopp or a Pep Guardiola at Manchester City. So we're going to have to look for more of this kind of style of play element of it and the kind of character they are. For me, De Zerbi ticks all the boxes. Alonso, like I say, incredible right now. I'm just not 100% sure long-term wise whether he's going to be that guy. But yeah, I'm very much intrigued as to what Liverpool's next step might be. For me, De Zerbi would be the way to go. And also, when you consider this season that De Zerbi has had a number of injuries thrown at him, and he's still managing to just plough his way through, trust the youth, trust the kids more, and just he's ploughing his way through and still getting plenty of points for Brighton and plenty of wins. And obviously they're having to balance Europa League in that as well this season. I think he's done incredible. And that's why I think, for me, he just about pips Alonso to the post, in my opinion. Where was I? Klopp taking Liverpool to many cup finals in his time. Absolutely. Absolutely. And whether they've been successful ones or failures, we stood by him throughout. They've been incredible. Some building was on fire in Liverpool. How the people and tenants hope the people and tenants were okay. Yeah, scary stuff. Had no idea. Scary stuff. I think Roberto would be a risk because Brighton is different to Liverpool. Oh, I get it. And let's face it, he wouldn't be the first manager to fail having jumped up to a bigger team, with all due respect to Brighton. I just love the way that he plays. I love his style of play. I love how exciting Brighton are. And like I say, I think that he has done so much this season for Brighton in terms of consistency, in terms of handling and maintaining them despite having a lot of obstacles thrown in his way. I love him. I love the guy. De Zerbi once stated beautiful over trophies. That's not exactly the right mentality to have, but I'm sure Son and Postecoglou also said the same thing. Some managers can be like Rafinha, great a small team and not so. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I think you put that comment in before I said it, but yeah, I agree with you. Some managers don't handle the jump very well. David Moyes, anyone? Everton to Manchester United, trying to fill the shoes of Sir Alex Ferguson. There you have it. Last 10 minutes. Any questions from you, Lucky? Fletch is it true because we all prefer Hamburg? No giveaway yet, but maybe when I grow bigger, if I grow bigger, that is, maybe there'll be something in the pipeline, but we'll wait and see on that one. We'll wait and see. Bayern match is on Sky, YouTube in 10 minutes. Xabi Alonso ball soon. Yep, might have to tune into that, so might have to cut this one a little bit short unless we're going to continue on, unless anyone has any more questions or anything. So we'll see how it goes. It's not important what people think of you when you first arrive. More important, what people think of you when you leave. Yeah, I mean, let's face it. As Liverpool fans, we know that. People were doubting and questioning Jurgen Klopp when he arrived, and he said we have to turn doubters to believers. Well, he certainly did that. When Virgil van Dijk arrived at Liverpool for 75 million, people said he was nothing more than a Chris Smalling type figure. And look how wrong he proved everybody. So I agree with you on that one. We have to change from doubters to believers. League Cup final is going to be intense. It's Chelsea. Whether it was a cup final or not, whenever we've faced Chelsea, that's their cup final. They always seem to turn up against us, and that's what makes it such a difficult game. Like, I've seen them so many times this season falter against other opposition, but against us, they always seem to turn up no matter what. And we make it difficult because obviously, you know, we've drawn against them about 4 times consecutively in the last few games, maybe more. So, yeah, it's going to be difficult, but one I'm looking forward to. Great stream. Thanks, bro. Really appreciate you stopping by, and thanks for the appreciation. Really appreciate that. W stream. Nice. We are winning the quad. Hey, I hope you're right, dude. I really hope you're right. I really would love to say we are winning a quad this season. It's not the quad. Would love to trade the Europa League for the Champions League, of course, but I would love to say you're right. 100%, but I think at least we win 2. At most, I would say we win 3. But yeah, that's. I'd love to have your confidence in saying we're winning the quad, but unfortunately, I don't have it in me just yet. Without enough evidence, that could obviously change going forward. So we'll see. Obviously how it is, but I just wanted to get the stream out there. Just wanted to kind of just wanted to talk about just this because it's just been a weird 24 hours, hasn't it? It's just been a very weird 24 hours for Liverpool fans in terms of talking about Jurgen Klopp, because a couple of days ago or a few days ago we just beat Fulham in the Carabao Cup. And we were looking ahead to not just the Carabao Cup final, but we were looking ahead to the future. You know, we just started bringing out like kids like Connor Bradley and Owen Beck and the other kid's name. His name escapes me now. I said it, but this whole young squad was going to be developing, and now it seems like it's being thrown into the unknown a little bit. So yeah, it's just weird. Let's stop 4 in a row. I can't have Pep's ego be more inflated. Hey, I 100% agree with you because no one's ever done 4 in a row before. No one's ever done 4 in a row before, and I don't want City to have that. Then again, it could all be taken away if City are found guilty. So, but that's a big if they're found guilty. So we'll wait and see on that one. Fulham away and Bournemouth away were good away tests. Arsenal away is going to be a good challenge. Look, a lot of football to be played between now and the end of the season. A lot of big challenges are on the horizon. We need to be at our best. Fingers crossed, we are. Fingers crossed we are. Wonder who will get Maidstone in the... I hope they get a big draw. A phenomenal achievement by Maidstone to make it to the... is it the fifth round next? Fifth round, isn't it? To get to the fifth round of the FA Cup. Phenomenal achievement. They deserve a big Premier League team. City, maybe? I know... Look, they're not going to win the competition. As much as I would love to see Maidstone win the competition, and it would be phenomenal for English football and for the FA Cup, I unfortunately can't see them winning. So they should get, for what they have achieved and for what they've done, all of that. Eric Ten Hag is still a fool. Yes. And that seems like a good place to end it on. We're talking about Maidstone and we're talking about Eric Ten Hag. So thanks everyone for stopping by and watching. I'm probably going to go and watch Bayer Leverkusen, as Ballum has so kindly pointed out, is live very, very soon. Is that Julian from Germany asking for directions to Liverpool? You know what? A few years ago, I might have took Julian Nagelsmann, but then since that he's been to Bayern Munich, I'm not 100% sure, to be honest. But yeah, been a good stream. Thanks everyone for participating and thanks everyone for watching. Hit the like button if you haven't already. Subscribe if you're new and want to see more content like this. Both things are always and very greatly appreciated, as always. Thanks everyone for stopping by. Thank you to Ballum and Lucky and everybody else for contributing. Football Loons, hey dude, sorry to catch you as I'm leaving, but I hope you are doing well, my dude. Hope you are well. Good luck to your boys tonight. Newcastle taking on Fulham, of course. So good luck in the FA Cup there. Like I say, just the last thing on the FA Cup, I pray Maidstone get a big draw in the next round. And Liverpool, if we get through tomorrow, and Manchester United, if they get through, and Man City, just draw them away from home. It just, that's what the competition needs. We need more teams like Maidstone, and we need more of these kind of big paydays for these guys. We're going to win the FA Cup. Hey, you know, if you do, quality season by Eddie Howe, he can easily turn it around. Not so much in the league, but let's face it, it would be a big turnaround of the season if you were to go on and win the FA Cup. So good luck to you, like I say. If you ever come up against Liverpool in that, though, then I don't wish you good luck, to be fair, but you already knew that. So fair play to you, bro. Hope you are well. Good, like I say, good luck to your boys tonight against Fulham. Should be a very intriguing game, actually. Should be a very interesting game. Something that I'm actually looking forward to. So we'll see on that one. To Ballum, to Footballer Loons, to Lucky. Thanks everyone for participating. Thanks everyone for stopping by, watching, taking the time out to obviously watch and view the live stream. I hope you're all doing well. Hope you're doing great. These are, of course, just the thoughts, comments, opinions, predictions, feelings of these guys and myself, of course, in this kind of live stream scenario. If you have any more thoughts, comments, opinions, predictions, feelings, whatever, I'm just rambling now a little bit. But get involved in the comment section, get involved in the chat. Would love to hear from you all, whether it's stuff that you want me to talk about for another video or live stream, or things that you guys want to talk about, or things that you want to talk about in this video. If you agree with my stuff, if you don't agree with my stuff, if you want to call me out, if you want to have an interesting debate, would love all that kind of stuff down below in the comment section. So do get involved down there. Otherwise, hit the like button, like I say, if you haven't already. Subscribe if you're new and want to see more content like this. Both things are always and very greatly appreciated. And as always, thank you all so much for watching and listening. I've been Fletch. This has been another Fletch Talk live stream. Thanks everyone for stopping by and watching. Take care, everybody. Have a good rest of your night, whether it's watching football or having a drink on a Saturday night or whatever it is that you're doing. Enjoy. Good night. God bless. Peace out. Talk to you all again very, very soon. Peace.